Now, when I do this, the fact hopefully will be right that I use. Sorry if that aren't. I might ramble on a bit. I'm also sorry for that. But I'll try my best to make this entertaining and as fast but as factually accurate as possible. So, we're just going to do it in the order that you see the drivers because I think that would be easier. So, Verstappen, bang. I think anything else is just ridiculous. If you don't give him an A star, he's been by far the best driver of this season with 15 wins. 6 of them have been from pole, which is insanely impressive. And he's had 17 podiums, with 15 of them being finishing first, 1 finishing second and 1 finishing third. Now, compared to Leclerc, he's only had 2 fewer poles than him, and everyone's ranted and raved about how fast Leclerc is on qualifying, yet Verstappen, in a 1 lap pace slower car, is managed to finish only 2 poles behind him in the course of the season. He's won 6 of them, whereas Leclerc's only won 2 of his 9. Verstappen's won 6 out of his 7. So he's been by far the best driver so far this season. He won the most amount of fastest laps in a season with 5, with Russell on 4th, which is also very impressive from Russell, considering that the Mercedes hasn't been their constant fastest car. It's had a few races where it's been faster, especially during the end of the season, but the majority of the season it was the Red Bull and it was the Ferrari who were miles faster than the rest, with the Mercedes just being a third. Perez is hard to call because he obviously is teammate of Verstappen. He obviously is nowhere near Verstappen's pace and Verstappen's dominance, really. But he only had 3... Wait, was it 3 wins he had? No, he had 2 wins. 2 wins. Obviously, he had that one in Singapore, which is very good. A very good race for him. And he obviously had that pole in Saudi Arabia. But considering his teammates had 13 more wins than him, it's hard to really judge. He had 11 podiums. Verstappen had 17. Verstappen had 15 wins. He only had 2. And obviously, he doesn't need to be winning 10 races with Verstappen 15. Obviously, that's impossible. But he's got to be at least challenging Verstappen for the race wins, whereas for the majority of it, he isn't. As I said, he's only had 1 pole position in the one in Saudi Arabia. He's had 3 fastest laps. But if you look at his average point finish, it's been 16, with Verstappen being 22.7. So Verstappen has finished 6 points in front of him on average per race. Which, yeah. So for that reason, I'm going to say Perez has been a B. I don't think it's been bad, but I think if you put an A, it's a bit unfair on Verstappen and Perez, because I think that's incorrect. Leclerc, it's hard to say with obviously both Ferrari drivers, because Ferrari strategically and driver, they've both been a bit lacking. Obviously, Leclerc made that huge, probably the most costly error of his championship in France, where he just lost the rear and span out. Verstappen ended up winning that race, and he lost 25 points, and that sort of like cemented Verstappen's dominance. That would sound a bit weird. With Leclerc making a costly error that was 100% his fault. So for that reason, I'm going to say Leclerc has been A. And the only reason why I'm saying A is not necessarily just down to his racing. Obviously, he won 3 races, 2 from pole. He got 2 hat-tricks as well. He had 11 podiums, which was joined with Perez, even though Perez had more second places than him, with Perez having 7 to his 5. But he had 9 poles, and obviously the points are on the Sunday, but having 9 poles is still very impressive, even though he only won 2. So for that reason, I'm going to say he's an A. Sainz obviously got his maiden Formula 1 win in Silverstone. I actually went to that race. He drove very well. He had some pressure from Leclerc, his teammate, but he still managed to hold on and ended up winning the race. He had 9 podiums, with 5 of them being 3rd place, and 3 of them being 2nd place. We had 3 pole positions, but I can't put him in the same ranking as Leclerc, because Leclerc has obviously been better than him. But I'm going to say he's ahead of Perez because he's pushed Leclerc at least a bit more than Perez has pushed Verstappen, and his average point finishes was 15.38 compared to Leclerc's 16.21, which is obviously only really like a 1 point difference, whereas Perez to Verstappen was nearly a 6 point difference. Sorry, my maths was completely incorrect there. Hamilton, Russell. Russell is going to be put in somewhere A. Hamilton somewhere B. Obviously, Russell got Mercedes' only win of the season in Sao Paulo, but has it been better or worse than Leclerc? It's hard because obviously the Ferrari for the vast part of the season was the faster car than the Mercedes, and Russell did extremely well considering that, and he didn't actually finish that much different to him. Now the Mercedes is obviously a very reliable car, which helped him, but he finished 4th, and he wasn't too far behind. Like, I think, I mean, he was only 30 points behind Perez, and Perez had a vastly faster car. That's only really like a win difference. Obviously, it's not, but it's close. And then, yeah, so for that reason, I think Russell's been better than Leclerc. You can argue with that. Now, with Hamilton finished 6th, which is still not bad, but he was expected to finish 6th at the very least because the Red Bull, the Ferrari, and Mercedes, they were far faster than the rest of the cars, with Mercedes being a bit behind the rest. But he's expected to finish 6th at the very least, and he did finish 6th. But obviously, it's been nowhere near Russell. Has it been better than Sainz? Has it been better than Perez? No, I think I'm going to leave him there. I could argue Hamilton was better than Perez, but you never know. Obviously, the car did help Perez warrant getting a B and being in front of Hamilton. Alonso, Ocon. Alonso was good this season. Like, obviously, he got 2nd in the Canadian qualifying in the wet. Obviously, his race didn't go exactly according to plan, but that 2nd place is still fantastic, especially as it was in the wet. It was more the driver's ability more than the car, even though the car did play a bit of a role in it. And he finished 2nd. Now, if you look at the points per finish, Alonso was slightly in front with 400ths between them, but obviously being that close was it's not really like, oh, Alonso's better than Ocon. But considering Alonso only had 14 point finishes and he was still higher, Alonso has been better than Ocon this season. I mean, if you look in the Drivers' Championship, Ocon actually finished in front of Alonso, so you could say Ocon's been better, but I think Alonso's had more standout races and Ocon just had more solid races, been more consistent. So I would say Alonso has been there. I think Ocon has been a bit underrated this season. But yeah, I'm going to put him there. Now, Ricciardo. Now, if we're being honest, I do love Ricciardo. He's a fantastic driver and a great personality, but he's been rubbish this season. He was rubbish last season, and you can argue with the car, but he was bad. I mean, Norris was the only driver outside the top 3 teams that managed to finish on the podium. Norris got 2 faster laps, Ricciardo got 0. I would say Ricciardo, you could argue B or C. I think I'm going to put him in C on the basis that Ricciardo only got 37 points in the season. Norris got 122. Yeah, that's what I'm going to put. Like, Ricardo got 7-point finishes in the full course of the season. Norris managed 10 more than that with 17. So, Ricardo, you're going C. Norris, you're going to go... No, I think you've got to put Norris in here. We're going to put him there. I think he's actually been better than Leclerc this season. Last season. Now, Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou. Bottas at the start of the season was great. Everyone's saying he made a great move going to Alfa Romeo. Because Mercedes at that point was absolutely, like, shocking. Near the end of the season, he had a bit of bad luck. Quite a lot of retirements. If we look at the retirements, both him and his teammate both had 6 retirements. They had the 2 most, joint with Sainz and Alonso. Alfa Romeo is just so inconsistent. But despite that, Bottas managed 9-point finishes with a total of 49, an average of 5.4. With Guan Yu Zhou having 3-point finishes, with 6 points totaling that, and when he finished in the points, he got 2. So, Bottas, you're going to go in. I don't know, because it was the car that cost him, but, like, okay. No, I was saying that. Guan Yu Zhou, for his rookie season, he was good. I'm putting him in B. Vettel and Stroll. None of them was really outstanding, if we're being honest. Obviously, the Aston Martin wasn't outstanding at all in the slightest. Vettel got 9-point finishes and 37 points together, with 3.7 being average once he's finished on the points. Stroll managed 8-point finishes with 18, and 2.25 was his average point finish when he finished in the points. Thinking. They both had the same amount of retirements. Vettel is going to go A. No, B. I might need to move some of this around. Stroll. Yes. The only reason I'm saying that is because Guan Yu Zhou is his rookie season. I'm not saying Stroll isn't a good driver. I actually think he's a bit underrated. Everyone say it's money that made him, but I think he's actually quite a good driver. Okay, now it's on to the Magnussen and Schumacher. Now this is hard because obviously Magnussen managed to get Haas's, a pole in Sao Paulo, his first pole position of his career. So for that alone, you have to put him at least in B, because it was very impressive. Obviously his team did a great job strategically getting him out at that point on the track, just before it turned wet again. And obviously after that, it was impossible for any driver really to beat him. Magnussen got 25 points. Schumacher got 12. Schumacher got 2-point finishes. Magnussen got 6. Magnussen, you're going to go there. Or there? You go on there. Schumacher, I'm sorry, but you have to go C. Whereabouts in C do I put Schumacher? It's got to be there or there. I mean, Stroll was better than him this season. I mean, I like Schumacher. Obviously, he's now a driver for Mercedes, but I'm going to put him there. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Now, Gasly, Tsunoda, the AlphaTauri was rubbish this season. In 2021, it was actually quite good. Had some quite good point finishes. This season, it was horrendous. Both drivers didn't finish that much points. Gasly finished 23, Tsunoda 12. Gasly had 6-point finishes, Tsunoda 4. I mean, it's hard to really judge who's been better at them because the car was so rubbish. So we could say Gasly. I'm thinking. that might be really harsh. I think that's really harsh, but I'm putting him there anyway. Latifi, yeah, I don't really need to explain much. He managed 1 point finishes with 2 points together. Albon only managed 4 points, but he got into Q3 not quite a lot, but like sometimes for that car it was very impressive. Whereas Latifi on the other hand, I remember I think it was the FP1 session, I think in Hungary, and he managed to get first, and I remember there was so many comments about that. It was so funny, but Latifi like didn't deserve to be in F1. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't a good driver. He was. He obviously worked hard. He's obviously got talent, but F1, it's pinnacle with the best drivers, and Latifi did not deserve to be there, and fortunately he's out. Now Albon. I feel like Albon had a good season. I feel like he's got to go on B or C. I'm gonna go B. Now I don't know if that's too harsh or not. I mean, it might be, it might not be. But that's what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna stick with that. I think that's relatively accurate actually. Just zoom it in for you guys to see. That is my order. What do you guys think? Now I think that's quite accurate. You could argue some drivers should be in a higher category, but that's all I'm going to stick with. And thank you for watching this video.